Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for hopping in. It's another day, another new week. If you don't know me, my name is Ransom Inyema. I'm a third year medical student studying medical radiography. My third year, like I said earlier, and I'm based in Nigeria. And apart from my medical studies, I'm also a professional medical content writer, and I do a lot of writings on medical articles, research and scientific based projects. I write on medical blog content, and I work with a couple of health and pharmaceutical companies, and I work with personal clients as well. So today I have an amazing guest speaker. Hey, Mel, could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, thank you. That was very nice. That's nice of you to say. I'm feeling like how amazing it is how much work you do. You must be so busy. So thank you for having me on. I'm a creative copywriter based in the UK, and I also do copy editing and event speaking. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, that was an amazing that was an amazing introduction. That was an amazing introduction. So, are you ready for the questions I have for you, Mel?
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. So, before I go to the first question, could you throw more insight on what middle child is all about? Tell us more about that.
About what? Sorry.
Middle child, being a middle child. What does that mean?
A middle child. Well. I always put that on my LinkedIn and on my website and stuff, because I think it helps clients to manage their expectations of what I'm going to be like. So as a middle child, I'm quite motivated by praise. So it means that I work extra hard. It's just a bit of a joke as well, because there's a stigma attached to being a middle child. So it's playing on that a little bit, but also genuinely it does make me try extra hard to please the clients, and yeah, it's mostly a bit of a joke though.
For me, it's a strategy, right?
It's like laying it out there that I'm going to be working my backside off to try and keep a client pleased. But also, yeah, I'd tell me that I'm doing a good job, because I need it, because I'm a middle child.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for explaining that first. So the first question goes this way. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. How did being a middle child, right, influence your career as a copywriter and also a copy editor? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I came to it I said to you when we were having a chat beforehand. I came to copywriting quite late in my career. And I kind of tried out a lot of different things first. I wasn't very motivated at school, and looking back now, I kind of coasted quite well. I got quite good results in my GCSEs, and then my A levels, not so much, but still did all right. But I didn't really have any career aspirations or career goals at that point. When I was very small, about 6 or 7 or something, I said I just wanted to get married and wait for babies to come, which I did, and they did. But I really got motivated, and this can sound very cheesy, but meeting my husband, I think I was 23 when we met, and he kind of, in a nice way, gave me a bit of a kick up the bum in my career. And he was like, is that really, you seem like you're more capable, and not in a nasty way, in a very supportive way. Kind of challenged me a little bit on that I definitely got in a bit of a rut, just kind of doing an admin job that wasn't taxing me very hard. I don't know how that quite relates to being a middle child, but that's my career story. So he inspired me to want to do more with my brain. And from that point on, every job that I've done, I've tried to get the highest possible qualification, because I kind of coasted through uni and didn't really try. And that's haunted me since, because I'm like, no, I'm better than that result. So I think the middle child element of it is perhaps I want to prove myself, and I do that now as well, to try and prove that I'm capable of what I'm doing and that I know what I'm talking about. So I always try and like get qualifications, as many as I can.
That's amazing to hear, Mel, that your partner is your number one supporter in everything you do. That's amazing.
He is.
That's
I don't
amazing.
like the idea of him seeing this and knowing that, because he'll be like,
It's totally fine.
he really does. Like, he's my biggest cheerleader and massive support. But don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, I tell people that the audience that you must have a supporting system. For you to thrive more, you need a supporting background system, like you said. So in everything, just have a supporter. Like even though it's one, your family, your partner, your friends, any kind of people that will support you. Encourage you whenever you're weak or whenever you're down or something. Is really really important. Thank you so much for explaining that first, Mel.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned, like friends and people in like I found being on LinkedIn, and Twitter back when I was on Twitter. Just the support from people in the same industry as well is really invaluable. It's everything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. So I want to ask you one question, Mel. Before we move into the second question,
Go ahead.
You are a copywriter and also an event speaker. Wait, before moving to the second question, how are you balancing those equations? Being a TDS event speaker and also a copywriter, how are you balancing those works together?
Well, last year I don't know how well I did balance it, because when I've got a talk coming up, I find it hard to concentrate on anything else. So it kind of wrote off a month for me last summer, preparing for a talk. But I think as I've done more and more talks, it's become a more efficient process for me. Getting the ideas of what I'm going to talk about, structuring it, planning out how it's going to go. I don't over rehearse, because I think part of the fun, I guess, is reacting to the audience in real time. But in terms of like balancing the two things, my goal this year is to have either a podcast or an event talk to give every month. But I don't really want too much more than that. I think otherwise it then encroaches on the copywriting time a bit too much. But I think it's really valuable if people can get on podcasts or get on stage and talk about what they do and how they're good at it and why they're good at it. I think that can be a really good way to market yourself. And so my friend Ben and I have started doing audio events on LinkedIn as well to talk about freelancing and try and be helpful to people. I think if you can be helpful to people, that's another useful way to, it's marketing yourself, but it's in a way that is primarily to be helpful rather than to like sell what you're doing. And I like talking to people. I like talking to people like you, so it's great.
That's amazing. In everything you do, you just have to make that one step. Like you say, you want to start up a podcast. That's a very huge step to take. But
well, can I ask you a question? I know it's meant to be you asking me, but how did you end up doing this podcast?
Oh, that's an amazing question. I didn't expect that, honestly. I didn't expect that. You see,
sorry, I put you on the spot.
Yeah, as a medical content writer and also medical student.
Yeah, why did you add another job to have to do? You've got so much stuff to do already.
Yeah, because I just had to, I've been longing to own a YouTube channel because many of my mentors, like Dr. Anthony J. Webbs, a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, and also Sheree Murray, these are the two people that made me to start up a YouTube channel. And I just started a YouTube channel like a means to an end, right? Just to help people in terms of medical terminology, because on my YouTube channel I talk about two things, right? I talk about things relating to medical terminology, med talks in general, and things related to freelance content writing. And because people are really adamant in things related to medical aspects and also freelance, because a lot of people, because I have a testimony that an engineer suddenly became a freelancer because he watched my video some other time, and
Oh, that's so
me too.
nice.
Yeah, so receiving all these kind of messages from people, helping people, like you said, is an addition to me. Honestly, it's an
And
addition
I
to
think
me.
sometimes when you're learning yourself, and then
Mm,
you're like the process of explaining it back to people, it helps you
yeah,
consolidate your own learning as well. So there's
absolutely.
like, as you hear yourself saying something out loud, you're like, actually, yeah, I hadn't thought of it. Like it's I found with Ben doing the audio events on LinkedIn, like, we'll be talking and we'll go, do you know, and actually I did this the other week. That's the first time I've thought that, and that's the first time I've said it out loud, and I'm doing it like because we're having this conversation. So I think it's that learning for yourself as well is really, it sounds like that's one of the things that you've got out of doing it.
Yeah,
Sorry
every
to flip it on you. You
yeah.
can ask me a question again now.
Yeah. Every day we keep learning. I'm a medical student, so I'm open to learning. So like I wrote on my profile, I'm eager to learn and grow. So I'm really open to learning as I'm talking to people, inviting amazing guest speakers like you. To throw more insights on research-based questions for the audience to get enlightened. So it's
Yeah.
really an addition to me. Absolutely. Thank you for that question, though.
Sorry.
And I
You
believe the
can carry
audience,
on asking me.
audience section. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the second question goes this way. As an advanced speaker like you, what have been some of your most memorable speaking engagements, and what did you learn from it?
They're yet to come. No, I shouldn't say that. My very first, so to go like back a bit, in my previous job role, so I'm going to go way back. So I met my
Yeah.
husband, inspiring, blah blah blah. He's great. And I ended up working as a careers advisor and doing my postgraduate diploma in careers guidance. And then I got to the point where I was training other people and speaking in front of classrooms of adult learners. And so I was delivering talks in that way. Then we moved completely different areas when I was pregnant because my husband's job moved. And I didn't have that job to go back to, or I could have gone back, but it would be like a horrible commute. There was no way. And I started doing like local admin to like fit around the school run with my children. And so I'd already done some speaking in front of people and teaching. And the first event talk I did in front of people as a copywriter was at Nottingham Digital Summit last year. And I just had the best time. I had such a lovely time. I'm hoping to go, even if I don't go as a speaker this year, I'll go as a guest because it's such a good event. And it's for charity as well. And so that was my first in-person event. But that came about because I put it out there on LinkedIn that I wanted to do some speaking events and that I had this previous experience. So it's not like I was going in completely cold going, yeah, I can probably do this. I'd already done it in a previous career life. So that was that was a real turning point for me doing the digital summit, because I think with a lot of things in life, you can say that you do something and then it becomes real because you've said that you want to do it. Someone else has seen that you've said you want to do it. They then refer you to do that exact thing you said you want to do. So I don't believe in the universe granting us wishes, but I do believe that if you put yourself out there and say, I want to do this, then people who are in your network who like you or like have warmed to you in some way because of the content you're putting out there, if they get the opportunity, they don't want to do it, they might well pass it on to you. And the same's the case for paid projects as well, like work projects. And huge amount of my work, especially in the first year, came through referrals from other people. So that's how I got to speak at Nottingham Digital Summit. And then because you've done one and you're talking about it online, other people ask you to be involved with their projects or their events. And yeah, it's been great. I love it. I've got a few exciting things coming up this year that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but I will. I'll brag about it all.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Honestly, I'm waiting for it. Honestly, I've watched you talk. And it's really amazing because you're really free at talking to people, and people understand what you're saying, and that's really amazing. I can be a testament of your past speaking engagements, and yeah, you're really an amazing
I
speaker.
think there's one talk I give that I've got a video for on my website, and I've realised why I love that shirt you're wearing, because the dress I'm wearing in that video is the same colour, and that's why I'm like, yes, Ransom.
Yeah. That was amazing. Like, that was amazing. I just had to put on this.
Yeah, I'd like to think that's why you're wearing it, but
that's a remembrance for you.
We'll just say that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that acknowledgements. Thank you.
But yeah, that's like a big turning point was that talk.
Yeah.
Because it also, each time you do that kind of thing, you then get to be able to talk about it, the fact that you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky, you get some photos or video to be able to show other people who might be able to book you for a speaker. And yeah, just talking about it online is so powerful.
That's amazing, Mel. That's amazing. So could you tell us more about what the meaning of, before we move into the main question, what do you mean by PG deep or PG deep? What does that mean?
That is the qualification that I've got in careers guidance. So it's a PG dip. Okay. It's a postgraduate diploma. And the reason I put that on there is because that is in the UK's qualification structure. So that's like one above a degree. It goes PG dip and then masters and then PhD. And so it's to show, the reason I've got that in there is to show that my qualifications in career guidance aren't just like a one-day course that I've done. It's a 2-year degree, postgraduate diploma rather, not degree. So
okay,
sorry,
could you tell us more about your degree in career guidance? I'm really in love with that course.
Yeah, so my degree is in psychology. That's the one that I didn't really bother working very hard at when I was younger. And then my postgraduate diploma is in career guidance, and it was 2 years going into the University of East London 1 day a week, and I learned tons of interview skills. That might be why I asked you a question earlier. I can't help myself. I just go into interview mode, and it was about helping people to work out, not like giving them the answers, but helping them through a structured interview to come to realizations themselves about what kind of thing they want to do, what their interests are, but also equipping them with the ability to go and match that to what's actually out there. Because it's all very well wanting to be a certain type of job, but if that job doesn't exist where you live, then you need to be a bit adaptable. And it's about career skills as well, and about being resilient and being able to spot opportunities that other people perhaps don't. So I love doing it, but it's not what I want to do forever. But it sits quite nicely with what I do now, because it helps me to, the interviewing part really helps with if I'm doing an interview for Freelancer magazine and I need to get information out of people, I use those interview skills. And it's also good for supporting other freelancers and helping them with their careers, and people who might be like thinking about going freelance. It's helped me be able to offer that as like a power hour. I can't say power hour, like an hour or 90 minutes, 60 minutes or 90 minutes to try and help people come away with an action plan. So it's like a little side side offer, a side dish
Absolutely.
to what I do as my day job.
I love the university you mentioned, University of East London. I love that university because I have a past experience because I got admission, over there to study. I got a pastoral scholarship there, and
What, at
you know,
UEL, at the
yeah,
University of East
I was.
London?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was 2 years ago when my university in Nigeria we had a strike, nationwide strike. All the universities were shut down. I was busy with my work as a medical content writer, and I just had to do some applications on some, universities, especially in the UK, the US, and Europe, around. And I got an admission. I couldn't remember the course they gave me, but it's related to medical aspects. I think it's biomedical science or something. I can't remember,
Hmm.
but it's related to medical course. I just had to apply, and they gave me did me. I did an interview session with them, and I was given granted admission, but I couldn't pay up the tuition fee because they gave me
Ah,
a partial scholarship. But all things work out to for good for those that love God. So it's totally fine. Immediately you mentioned that name,
yeah,
University of
it
New
took you
Hampshire.
right back there. Sorry.
University of East London. I was like, something's wrong somewhere. But that's
Yeah.
amazing that you did that first.
Yeah,
So
that was
so
a
tell
long
us how.
time ago now. That was like,
Hmm,
oh, I think I
oh, really?
finished it in 2010. So
Oh
yeah,
my.
like 40. Oh, I'm so old.
Mm,
Um,
that
but it
that's
really it stuck with me so much. And it's helped me in many ways, being able to do those interviews and draw out
mm,
information from people without like shining a light in their face and being an
mm,
interrogator.
mm,
It's helped massively. But it's like ironic because I never knew what I wanted to do and I ended up being a careers advisor. And a lot of people have a bad
mm,
experience where they're like, oh, my careers advisor was rubbish and they told me that I could never make it as a pop star or whatever. So there's a lot of people didn't like their careers advisor. I like to think I was a good one that didn't crush people's dreams and was like quite supportive and nice. I don't know. I hope so.
I totally resonate with that, but it's all good, it's all good. And I want to know something, like I said, every day we learn. I didn't even know what PT Deep was all about. Like when I saw it on your website, I was like, well, where's this?
Yeah,
But now
I need to explain that more.
I've learned it now. So, like I said, every day we keep learning. So the question three goes this way. How has your PhD in career guidance, shaped your advice to offer to aspiring freelancers and writers? This video, they're going to be freelancers and writers are going to, watch this video. So
Wow.
how does your degree career guidance shapes, the advice you offer to aspiring freelancers and writers
I was
out
just
there?
trying to look for my absolute favorite book from that course, and I've moved offices,
Oh,
swapped spaces with my husband, and I can't see
you're
it
free.
easily. But there's, sorry,
You're free to search for it. You're free to search for it.
no, it's
Hopefully,
fine.
someone
I'll
gets
just
it.
explain what it is. It's a book called "Luck is No Accident," and it's not.
Mm,
There's not a book recommendation because this is like a course book. Like it's not just for like fun reading, but that book really. I was going to say changed my life. I don't really be like dramatic, but it's about happenstance, which is a career theory by somebody called Crumboltz, which is a brilliant name. And it's all about how in life, like in the old days, career guidance would be, what are you good at? Let's match it to a job. And that was it.
mm,
But
mm,
now you can't, there aren't jobs for life anymore. It's not like you
mm,
go up the career ladder. It just, most careers don't work that way. You have to be open to opportunities and you have to make opportunities if there aren't any available. So, I mentioned earlier about posting saying, I want to do some event talks. Stuff like that then opens up opportunities for you that if I hadn't posted that I wanted to do that certain thing, I would never have had the recommendation to do it from someone in my network. So the thing that's really stayed with me from doing that course is the value in posting. And I have a whole talk that I give called Get Over Yourself and Post, because that is, especially nowadays, that is the most valuable thing you can do with your time if you're looking at marketing. In my opinion, other people might think it's something different, but in my opinion, what I've seen firsthand for myself and other people is by creating your personal reputation or personal brand, whatever you want to call it, online, showcasing what you're good at, showcasing what you're interested in, even if it's something really random. Like, there are other people who have that random interest as well, and that's how you find each other. You've got to put yourself out there. So my biggest piece of advice to people, which is steeped in like this career theory element as well, is putting yourself out there, finding opportunities, making the opportunities yourself if they're not there. And just getting yourself out there is so important. And I know some people don't like it and go at the idea. And I did that. Like, the first video I posted on LinkedIn, I was like, I hate it. It's horrible. But by getting yourself out there, people start to get to know you. It means if you then meet them in real life, you've kind of skipped a few steps. But also from this career management point of view, if you're not being clear about what you do, how you help people, what you want to do, what projects you're looking for, then you can't expect people to magically know that. So you got to get out there. You've got to get yourself out there, like you're doing now with your podcast.
Absolutely. Nobody's going to do that for you. You have to do yourself,
Exactly.
You have to do
exactly.
Marketing.
But what you'll find is that when you do that over and over, people do start doing it for you. You'll get tagged in stuff. You'll get referred, and it becomes this like perpetual thing where you get known for something. People then
I love that you said about tagging, but before you get tagged, you have to make the step of doing it yourself, marketing yourself. Nobody's going to do that for you. You have to.
And it's not like it sounds bad, like, oh, I want to be tagged by everyone. I don't mean it like that. What I mean more is being the person that comes to mind, like living in other people's brains, is really recommendation for you.
Absolutely. That's cool. Mel, you've been an amazing guest speaker, and I believe that the audience is going to enjoy this session. Absolutely. So we have like 4 more questions to go. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah. So the 4th question goes this way. Can you share some insights, into how being a freelancer has given you the freedom to explore unique writing opportunities, such as contributing to magazines like, a website?
So Freelancer magazine was the one that that was a real moment for me in my like freelance career, because I got to know the editor Sophie on Twitter, just from I don't want to swear, but posting crap. Like, she doesn't post crap, she posts good stuff. But I got to know her from that, and that's another example, actually. And I keep going on about it, but that's another example of how happenstance and luck luck isn't something that just happens. You have to kind of create it. And that's how I ended up working with Freelancer magazine. And Freelancer magazine is why I'm freelance as well, because I was spending a lot of time on Twitter. I was learning about how to do copywriting. I was like militantly cramming it in my brain every Sunday morning. Like, that was my turn for a lie-in our house, and I'd just be like watching videos, reading books, like practicing writing. And I was building up a bit of a network of people that I got to know on Twitter. And then I saw this Kickstarter fund for Freelancer magazine, and I was like, oh, I'm so intrigued. And what I find in my career is something will like wink at me a little bit, And then I just keep seeing it everywhere, and I'm like, it keeps winking at me. Like, there's something in this. Why can't I stop thinking about this thing? So I backed the Kickstarter, even though I was still in a paid job, and started getting the magazine when it was made. And then I think it was like a year later, Sophie first asked me to contribute to it, and it was just this amazing like moment, like cool. Came full circle. Cool. And again, that's from kind of putting myself out there and posting stuff. But the freedom, like writing my website, that's also to do with Sophie. Sophie is my origin story for freelancing, because she offered me the chance to take over her Twitter on International Women's Day when I'd just gone freelance, and like to help boost my profile. And I made it so that my very last post was my website, and that meant that I had to make it. I had to just get it done by that day. And I think that really helped, because as a writer, the worst thing to do is have to write for yourself. It's horrible. Everyone hates it. It's like, ugh. Writing for a client is fine. Writing for myself is horrible. And it really helped having that really hard deadline of like, it's going to go out on a tweet. I have to have made this website by then. But the creative freedom that you get once you've left an employed role, the creative freedom you get is one of the best parts. Just being able to write about whatever you like. And you know what crap I write about on LinkedIn. It's not always like obvious why I'm writing about pancakes or something. But that's like an insight into my brain and my world and how I work. And so having that creative freedom has been really important to me on a like personal level, being able to be myself, but also it's paid off in terms of like relating to clients and being able to show them what I can do.
That's great. That's really great. That's an amazing nugget for, aspiring medical content writers out there. They're gonna come across this video, so you have to follow Mel's strategy right now if you want to be an amazing.
Well, I call it like brain to fingers. Like, don't filter it too much. Do not try and edit yourself too much. Get yourself out there on the page.
Absolutely, you have to. It's a must now. You have to. Thank you so much for that, Mel. Thank you so much. So the fifth question goes this way. Are you ready? So what are some strategies you have found effective in maintaining a healthy work-life balance, especially given your involvement in? I'm sorry, what was that?
I know the shindig. Do you know what that is? That it made me laugh when the shindig is a reference to a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers called Can't Stop. And the line is can't stop addicted to the shindig. And shindig is like, just means like party type stuff. So I just chucked that in. This is where like, just don't overthink things, just shove it in. I put that in my LinkedIn just as a little nugget, so the people who know that song will go, oh, I know that song. But in terms of work-life balance, I suck at work-life balance because I really love what I do. And that sounds cheesy, but I really do. I really love it. So I'll be on my phone, like drafting a LinkedIn post at 10 o'clock at night while we're watching a film, because I'll just have the idea and I'm like, I need to get this idea out of my head into the notes app. But I do have some really clear-cut boundaries that I do tend to stick to because I have to. And that is, I work in the school day. So I drop my children off, walk home. I'm in work mode. 3 o'clock comes. It's a really short day. And 3 o'clock comes and I have to go and get the children. So I stop work at that point, unless I'm doing something where I've added on a big fat like rush fee. If they need something done quicker, then I can do it. Then I'll work in the evenings. And I also don't intend to work in the school holidays, but I do sometimes, because sometimes something really good will come along and I'll be like, oh, I don't want to say no to that. I'll get my mum up. She can look after the kids. But mostly the summer holidays is 6 weeks long. So long. But part of the reason I went freelance is to manage that time and not have to be ignoring my children for 6 weeks at a time because I've got to work. I think that was like one of the things that came out of lockdown for us, was not wanting to just shove them in front of the TV for massive amounts of time. We had to do that during lockdown so we could work. But now I'm freelance. I don't have to work at certain times. I can just choose to fit my diary around what my children need. But it's difficult sometimes because I love working, especially earning money. That's the best bit. But earning money for something I enjoy doing, it's a dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult, but I try and limit my shindig to the weekends.
I have to go listen to that song. I'm reading down.
Yeah,
after this,
can't stop. Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's a bit shouty, but I like it. That's like my youth. Was that
that's a recommendation.
I think it's on Californication. It's either on Californication or By the Way. And I'm gonna have to hang my head in shame for not knowing which one it's on. It's on one of those albums.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
It's got the best intro.
Absolutely.
You'll love it. Let me know. Let me know what you think.
I love
when
music.
You've listened.
You know, I love music. You know, Afrobeats, R&B songs, hip hop. You know, I love all this music.
Ransom,
you know,
please, can you send me your recommendations in a LinkedIn message?
Well? Absolutely, I'll do that. Absolutely, I'll do that.
Yeah, give me like the best Nigerian pop to listen to. Expand my horizons.
Ooh, yeah. Are you serious right now?
Yeah, I want you to message me after this and tell me like some top Nigerian artists that I should be listening to. In fact, you should post about it. Post about it on LinkedIn so that everyone can see.
Okay, now I'm getting something right. You know, I'm very Nigerians are really amazing. We have an amazing, singers. You know, like the likes of Burna Boy. Do you know Burna Boy?
I'm like really old, so no, probably not.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm going to look into it. No, I'm gonna have to. This is why you need to educate me. I'm an old lady.
You don't know Davido. You don't know Davido.
Davido, no. Like you're like highlighting how much I don't know about music. This is why I need you to help me. I need you to give me a recommendation.
I'm going to help you. You need help.
There's
absolutely.
An exchange of information here. I've told you to go listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. You tell me some artists that I need to go listen to.
So let me name 4 artists, Nigerian artists.
No,
you should know.
No, don't test me. Don't test me. Message me afterwards.
Right? All right, no problem. All right, no problem. All right, no problem.
You're just going to make me feel even more old and crusty.
Yeah, I'm gonna help you, definitely. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you some music, Nigerian music that are really amazing that you should listen to.
Definitely. I'm up for that. Yeah, put it in a LinkedIn post and then everyone will know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have 2 more questions to go.
Yes,
Mel.
I keep sidetracking you.
This question goes to say, are you ready? How do you approach the process? Before I go into this question, as a writer, the writing is not the main issue, right? The main work is proofreading and editing. Editing is amazing. So it's preferable to have your own editor to do that work for you. Because if you're a writer, like me, I was doing the whole work on myself, and I said, no, I need an editor. No, I started working with some couple of editors out there. So I know it's a very, very tough work. So I want you to tell us how you approach the process of editing and refining your own work, and what tips would you offer to others in similar role? I'm included, absolutely.
Well, my first tip for people when they're doing their own marketing and their own LinkedIn or wherever is not to edit too much, because I think people treat that sometimes like it's a project of like that they're being paid for, and they edit and make sure it's like perfect. People don't need to see that. If they're just trying to get to know you as a human that they might want to work with, if you edit too much, then you just end up sounding like everyone else. But when it's your project work and it's client work that you have to get right, there's a couple of things that I do to make sure that I'm editing it effectively. One of the things that you really should try and do, I'm not very good at this bit, is to not try and edit as you go. You should try and just get everything onto the page and resist the urge to edit it as you're going, because you need to just not interrupt the brain. I said before, brain to fingers. This is just like, get it out. And then after you've got the first draft on the page, then you start the editing. A couple of things. Emma Cownley, who is an amazing copywriter, she is, I think, was the first person that told me this tip. If you change the font color to like purple or blue or something, you instantly can read it like with fresh eyes. I don't know how it works, some kind of weird science. So that's one tip, is to change the font color. Another is to read it out loud. But I don't bother reading it out loud myself because my brain knows what I meant to say. So I'll like skip over typos because my brain knows what it's meant to say and it doesn't spot it. But I get the lady inside word like to read it out loud. You go to like review in Microsoft Word and then read aloud. You can have a man or a woman or like whatever voice, whatever accent works for you. I like a lady who speaks very like poshly. Sounds a bit like a posh English actress or something, and that will read the text exactly as it is, not how you think you wrote it. So it'll pull up typos that your eyes don't spot. It'll pull up issues with the rhythm of what you've written, and it's the only way to properly edit for me. But that's like a more of a proofing type thing. When I'm looking at a piece of work and I'm copy editing it, trying to make it sound as succinct as possible, then the first step with every sentence is to ask myself, how can I say this in a shorter, as few words as possible? Then once you've done that, then adding in a bit more personality, because you don't want to be making it like 3-word sentences over and over again. It's got to have some variety and flow. So I'll look at like, how can I say this in a clearer way, in a more succinct way, with the tone of voice that I'm meant to be doing it with. And yeah, there's some tricks that people say about how you search the whole document for the word that, and almost always you can take the word that out. But I don't tend to do that with my editing. Sometimes I need a that in there. Like sometimes it's fine. So yeah, those are my main ways I edit stuff. But before you start editing, to look back again at the brief and at the tone of voice document and just remind yourself what you're aiming for. But don't over edit when it's your own stuff, because like, you want to come out just like pure you. So,
Absolutely. Yes. There's a name you mentioned. What was that name again?
It's Emma, and her surname is Cownley, Cownley. I can't spell off the top of my head.
She's gonna be my next. I've written it down. She's gonna be my next guest speaker.
Good luck, because she's. If you can get her, she's fantastic, and she has a really good YouTube as well. She's got a YouTube channel called Kiss My A's, like as in the letter A. She's also on TikTok.
I have to do some studies about her work, really, so I can do some researches.
She's totally rock and roll. She's brilliant.
I mean, so I can come up with.
I love
some
her
quick...
like to the like appropriate amount and no more. But just like I big fan. And she's really nice as well. She's just lovely.
I'm gonna invite her definitely.
You absolutely should.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just have to, maybe I'm connected with her, I don't know, but I just have to study her work and, do some researches and come up with some questions I get from people out there. So yeah, thank you for explaining that first. And I believe that the audience will really know how to, go about their details.
That trick was amazing. When I first tried it with the tip that she said about changing the color, I was like, whoa, it almost like pops out at you where there's typos. It's amazing how our brains work, but you know that because you're a medical student.
Yeah, I did neuroanatomy in my first semester in third year, and we did it shallowly, but at least I know some few things there. We didn't go more deeper in the brain or something. We just did above, scratches the surface, and yeah. So I know how the brain works. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So yeah, Mel. So we have the last question right now. How do you feel about these questions we asked you?
How do you feel about the question I asked you?
Well, I
See, look, I always got to spin it back. Spinning.
Yeah, it was promptu, but I have the answer ready. So yeah, thank you for asking that question, though.
Yeah, no, I've welcomed every question. I don't know if I've given good answers, but
yeah, because I'm a great researcher, So I just because I've known your work ever since, so I just did some researches, to come up with some questions that is not going to be off from your niche, and I believe that I'm so grateful you welcomed all those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, I was just going to say I'm happy to have been able to talk to you. It's been great because I know you first asked me a little while ago, so I feel like I've been waiting quite a while to speak to you, so it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a very patient person. Even though it's gonna take me 5 years to make that step, I'll wait. Honestly, I'm not in a rush. I'll wait. So we have the last question, Mel. You ready?
I'm absolutely ready.
All right. So, in what ways do you believe the landscape of copywriting and editing is evolving? And how do you adapt to these changes in your own work? There are latest technologies used in content writing in general, like the ChatGPT and others. So how do you incorporate this to your work?
Oh, it's so changeable at the moment. And when I think back to like a year ago, the difference, because I think it was about a year perhaps that ChatGPT first kind of started becoming a thing, and this time last year was really quiet for a lot of copywriters that I know, and it's because people were trying out different things using ChatGPT. I think it tends to be the clients who would have paid badly anyway that have gone to use ChatGPT. So there are still a lot of clients out there who want the human touch and want somebody to craft them their copy. It's almost like artisanal words, homemade words, rather than using the machines to do it. I can see why a lot of people have jumped onto ChatGPT, and copywriters some of them are now using it to create content. So I've played around a bit on it just to see, what we're up against, and it's been so bad that I'm not worried at this point in time. I think we need to be mindful of where it's going, though. I think we've got to be realistic that a lot of clients will end up using ChatGPT. But it's a bit like Canva. I don't know if you use Canva, the software, graphic design software. A business that would have just done its own stuff in Canva was never good. Like I'm a classic for this. I wouldn't employ a graphic designer. I'd use Canva. So no graphic designer was ever missing out on my business by me using Canva, because I just wouldn't have used a graphic designer. So I think it's the same. I might one day. I'll need a logo at some point. I'll definitely have a graphic designer one day. But the same way I've made my own website, because I was like, oh, well, I don't really have the budget. I don't really want to pay someone for it at this point. So I made my own in Squarespace. And I think ChatGPT fills that void for people who would have just done it themselves anyway. I don't think there's a threat from ChatGPT to certain areas of copywriting, like tone of voice documents, tone of voice work, instilling a tone of voice within a company. That's not something that a robot can do, or a language model AI can do. So I think there are a lot of things that copywriters are still needed for, and there's some elements where I can't see it changing. I can't see the ChatGPT taking over everything, but it is a real threat. And I know that people have had very quiet times because ChatGPT's come in, and their clients are perhaps using that instead. But I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts on it? Are you still going to be a medical copywriter, or are you going to just focus on your medical studies instead?
I think the percentage differs. If it's based on percentage, I give 90% on my medical education, and 10% on my work, and I don't think AI is going to take over writers, because I've read a couple of publications from other, people out there, medical writers out there. There are a whole lot of disadvantages based on, using AI incorporated to your work, but I'm not going to base
with what you're doing. You need, like, AI could give completely inaccurate advice, because it's taken, it can't critically analyze what it's gathered. It just regurgitates it, and it gives you what it thinks the next best word would be, but it could be saying something awfully wrong in a medical sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a guest speaker, a medical student at University of what university was that? I think it's University of Manchester, but it's in London though. She's a 4-year medical student. She was talking about how robots took over the hospital, the work in the UK or something, like, I think it's America or London. I don't know. I can't remember. It was last year.
What, doing the surgery?
Yeah. So robots were doing everything. But I told her that, no, there's no amount of robots that will come into this world that's going to take over human touch. The patient, I tell people, like, the patient don't really care about your grades. Grades are amazing. Come out with first class is amazing. It's a very good thing to have. But in that grade you get, do you know what you're doing? Are you sure you know what you're doing? Like, for instance, I'm doing radiography, medical radiography, my 3rd year. So my question is, regardless of the challenges I face in school, what I'm after is the knowledge. And also the grade. The grade is after. But my main thing is the knowledge, because I'm dealing with human beings, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to kill people, because life's in my hands, And radiography is the forefront in healthcare. So I need to know what I'm doing. If you don't know what I do, nobody's going to accept you to work.
And the patient doesn't want a robot that does it. A patient wants to be reassured and understood and empathized with. And that, you can't, and that relates back to the copy. A robot, AI, can't empathize with what someone's pain points are, what the reader's going to be feeling as they read it, how you want them to feel when they're reading it. It's just impossible.
It's very obvious if you use a chat GPT to write a post. Yeah. Even though I'm blind, I would know that it's a chat GPT word.
You can smell it. Yeah.
I can feel it. So you just have
feel it in your bones.
Absolutely. So you don't have to make it your full focus. For me, my advice for freelancers out there is, if you want to use ChatGPT, use it for if you're having a writer's block. Maybe
just get something on the page to.
Absolutely. Like a project that I worked with, clients gave me, I was handling the education of medical block, and she's a doctor in Dominican Republic. That was last year, and she gave me a work to do without no outlines. So I have to do the outlines and everything, and that's how I incorporated AI to give me, because I was having the writer's block. Structure Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes you don't get the inspiration like musicians. There's sometimes the lyrics don't come out. You just have to stay one place. The inspirations will start coming, but it doesn't come all the time.
But I think with that though, with the analysis, like a songwriter, there is
Yeah.
so much satisfaction from finding the right words that using ChatGPT for like headlines or something like that doesn't give a sense of satisfaction and like, I've created this thing. And you don't get that pride in your work. So yeah, my advice to your listeners would be to just proceed with caution, so you don't lose who you are as a creative. And I hate the term I'm a creative, but like as a creative person doing a creative job, I think it's a very slippery slope to go from using it a little bit here and there to then relying on it. So that would be my advice to people, really, would be to just be really careful.
Thank you so much, Mel. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest speaker, and thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, because I know you have a very busy schedule, and helping on to.
I have a call 2 minutes ago, but it's okay. I'll just say sorry to them.
It's fine, because I know your schedule changes sometime, and thank you so much for helping, and
thank you for
I believe
having me.
that. Yeah, sure. I believe that the audience will greatly appreciate this video, and if you love the content, do well to subscribe, like, and share to your network, and I'll wait for my next content. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Oh.